Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Criminolly, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, locked rooms, serial killers and queer horror. It's my weekly wrap-up. So before I start on the books, I just wanted to reflect on something very sad that happened this week, and that is that Diane Morasa, one of my long-time subscribers, has passed away. So Diane is someone who, I can't remember her not being in my comments. She's been there pretty much from the start of the channel, incredibly supportive, really engaging, a really, really fun person to chat to. We had lots of conversations about books. We had conversations about e-readers more recently. She was looking for tips on a new e-reader to buy. We did a really enjoyable buddy read a while ago of the book Mary's Monster. So Diane has been part of the, like the Criminolly community, if you want to call it that, for a very long time. And when her husband passed on the message on my Patreon that she'd passed away, it made me reflect on the way that the connections we make with people online are just as valid as the connections we make with people in real life. I consider Diane to be a friend, and also the fact that this channel isn't just me sitting here talking to my phone. It's everyone who engages in the comments, who is part of my Discord or whatever. Everyone who watches and interacts with my videos is part of the broader community of this channel. Very sad that Diane isn't part of that community anymore. I think the community will be diminished for her not being in it. She was a wonderful commenter, and as I say, I really enjoyed the interactions I had with her over the last few years. Anyway, let's move on to the books. So I've read a fair few things this week. Definitely a heavy focus on crime and a variety of different crime books read this week. So the first one I finished was Found in the Street by Patricia Highsmith, part of my ongoing read-through of all of Patricia Highsmith's works. This was a really fun one. So this is like really late in Highsmith's career. I think there's only one or two more books to go. And had a classic Highsmith setup, which is that a guy finds someone's wallet in the street and goes to give it back to him. And it ends up being about the interactions between these two guys. There's like tension, there's like a weird tension, that kind of weird tension that Highsmith did really well throughout the book. Something more is going to happen, and eventually it does. But yeah, really interesting book, really well done. Not like the best of Highsmith by any means, but definitely a really good, solid Highsmith read. So enjoyed that a lot, as did Anne Novella, who's joining me on this journey of reading all of Highsmith's books. In fact, it was Anne's idea in the first place. Second thing I finished then was Black Girl Lost by Donald Goines. So this was the first book for my Novel Life challenge, which I spoke about on the channel a while ago, and which lots of people seem to be really liking the idea of. If you are wanting to take part in the My Novel Life challenge, there's a section on my Discord for people to discuss the books they're reading for it. The idea, very, very simply, if you don't know already, is that you read a book published in every year that you've been alive in sequential order. So I'm starting with 1973, which is the year I was born, which is the year this book was published. So Donald Goines was a really interesting Black American crime writer, had a very short career because he was killed, so he died very young. This book was similar to the other ones I've read by him in that it's really bleak and harrowing, but has a real heart to it as well. So about a young girl from a very impoverished background who falls into kind of a life of crime and like drug dealing and things like that. So it was written that the thing that really strikes me with Donald Goines' books is they really feel like he knows what he's writing about. He really knows his subject matter, and I think that's why he was so successful. Really interesting book, really, really bleak, but completely convincing, and had a real heart. You really end up caring about the central character. So yeah, I thought that was very good. After that, another crime novel that couldn't have been more different, really. That is Cabaret Macabre by Tom Mead. So I will be doing a review of this one on the channel soon. So it comes out, I think, on the 1st of August. I was kindly sent this advanced copy by Tom and the publisher. The third book in his Joseph Spector series. Really, really enjoyable. I really like these books a lot. And this one doesn't do anything massively different from the first two books in the series, but just as much fun. So set just before the start of the Second World War, so in that kind of golden age detective period. It's got a locked room mystery. It's got about, I think there's three different deaths that are investigated in this, all of which are like apparently impossible. There's the central character, Spectre, is a really interesting character. So just a really fun, playful mystery novel. I enjoyed it enormously. After that then, another crime book, and a very different one. That was The Echo Man by Sam Holland. So this is a serial killer book, the first in a series. I think the series is up to book 3, but I think book 4 is in the works at the moment. I'll definitely be reading more of them. I think the series is called Major Crimes. So set in Southampton, which isn't that far away from me. And this one's about a serial killer who is like copying the MOs of other famous serial killers, hence the title, The Echo Man. What was really interesting about this is you've got like the central group of cops who are investigating these murders, but you've also got a local woman whose life is kind of turned upside down and who gets pulled into, in a weird way, gets pulled into the investigation as well. So you've got her storyline running alongside the investigation, which made for a really compelling read. It was just a really... I hesitate to use the word fun about a serial killer novel, and there's certainly some like very graphic and disturbing content in here, but it was just that kind of propulsive entertainment. So yeah, really fast paced, really good twists and turns to the plot. I enjoyed this one. Next up, a classic mystery, or at least a vintage mystery. This is Too Many Clients by Rex Stout, one of the Nero Wolfe mysteries. It's the first Nero Wolfe mystery I've read. I'll definitely go back and read more because it was very entertaining. So what's interesting about this series, and this is book 34 in the series, there are 40-something in total. What's interesting is that Nero Wolfe isn't the main character. So Nero Wolfe is this kind of reclusive, gourmet, genius detective type guy. Archie Goodwin, who works for him, is the main character in the books, really, and the narrator of the book. So Archie Goodwin does all the kind of hard-boiled shoe leather gumshoe type stuff. So goes around and talks to people and tries to pull together the pieces of the mystery, and then Nero Wolfe kind of turns up at the end and assembles the jigsaw, if you like. So yeah, a fun mystery about the death of a guy who's like the CEO of a company who's been kind of up to no good, basically. But yeah, a really entertaining kind of period mystery. Came out, I think, in 1960. So yeah, I enjoyed that one. Next up then, a buddy read that I did with one of my patrons, Ida. So this is the new book from Chuck Tingle, Bury Your Gaze. I wasn't a huge fan of Chuck Tingle's previous novel, Camp Damascus. I thought it was good, but I didn't love it as much as some other people seem to. Bury Your Gaze I thought was better. I really like this a lot. So it's about a guy who's like a screenwriter in Hollywood. He's like the showrunner for a TV show. And he gets like pulled in by the studio and told that he needs to get rid of like these two gay characters in the series, or at least change their storyline. And he doesn't want to do that. And then what starts happening to him is characters from previous things that he's made, like horror movies and things like that, start showing up in his life in a way that's completely inexplicable and like terrorizing him, basically. It was really, really entertaining. I thought Chuck Tingle did a fantastic job of like pulling together all the elements of the plot. It's not a long book; it's like 300 pages or so. But he does a fantastic job of introducing a load of different concepts. He's got some really interesting stuff to say about like gay representation in movies and things like that. But he builds that into a really satisfying story that pulls together a load of disparate elements which don't feel like they're going to come together well into a conclusion, which is absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed the final quarter of this book in particular. I really thought it was excellently handled, really well pulled together, very, very funny at times, quite creepy at times. There's some decent kind of creepy horror and some decent body horror as well. But yeah, just really came together well at the end. So enjoyed that very much. So I just finished that this morning. In terms of what I'm currently reading, so currently reading a couple of things. So another buddy read I'm doing with one of my patrons, Joachim, is The Twisted Ones by Kingfisher, which is really good. So really creepy, about this woman who has to go out into the middle of nowhere, or like, you know, kind of some rural state in America. I can't remember which one it is now. To like clear out the house of her grandmother who's passed away. So she has to go out there and do stuff, and she discovers this diary there written by her step grandfather, which has like references to all this creepy stuff, and then creepy stuff starts happening as well. So very well done so far. Really enjoying it. I'm about half the way through. The second T. Kingfisher book I've read, I will definitely read more by her because I'm enjoying this a lot. And then I also started this morning something completely different, a book called Technofeudalism by Yanis Varoufakis. So Yanis Varoufakis is a Greek kind of politician and economist. And this is a book about how his thesis for the book basically is that capitalism is dead and has been taken over by what he terms technofeudalism, which is the concept that you've got a very few big companies like Amazon and Google who basically control all of the markets now, and, you know, make money by allowing other people to sell stuff in their markets. So an interesting concept, and the book so far is very engagingly written. I'm enjoying it a lot. So that's what I have been. That's what I have been reading. That's what I am reading. In terms of channel stuff, then, so in the last week, you've had another video about Garbology and about the Garbology. So the Garbology anthology of trashy fiction is only less than 2 weeks away from publication now. I'll leave pre-order links for the Kindle version in the description to the video. There is a paperback version as well, but you can't pre-order that. That will be available from the 1st of August. I've also did a video about the book Stoner by John Williams, so kind of a review of that and a discussion of the history of that book. I did the mid-year book freakout tag, which is kind of a tradition that you do at this point in the year. So talking about my reading for the first 6 months of the year. And then I did finally my tier ranking video of disturbing books, where I talk about 77 disturbing books and how I would rate them in terms of their relative disturbingness. So that's what you've had in the week just gone. In the week ahead then, I'm going to do an update on the Read What You Own challenge now that I've finished that. I've got an unboxing and first impressions video for this. The books Go 10.3 e-ink device, tablet, e-reader, whatever you want to call it, which Books very kindly sent me. It's fantastic. I don't know if you can see just how clear and wonderful that screen is, but the screen on this thing is amazing. So if you're interested in that, check out that video, which will be going up on Monday. I'm also going to do an unboxing of a book subscription service called Your Paper Quest. So you may remember I did an unboxing on one of their boxes a few months ago now. I think it was, may have been a year ago. They've sent me another one, so I'm going to do an unboxing of that. And then I'm also going to do a review of the book Dead Mile by Joe Furness, which is a murder mystery set in a traffic jam. So yeah, that's what you can expect to see on the channel in the week ahead. Anyway, I will leave it there. Let me know what you've been reading this week. Let me know if you've read any of the books I talked about. And as always, thanks very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff. And I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.